Welcome to Dyllin with Age of Wonders 4, where we continue the journey of Gear and the Anointed Orcs in Episode 6. Last episode I made the silly mistake of saying Episode 4 again, but that's no big deal. Anyway, let's begin. Not too worried about it. Pioneers only cost us about 8 upkeep, which is standard with everything else. So let's get another Pioneer. This Pioneer we're probably going to send into the Underground. We have one spell ready, which is Sundering Blades. It's going to have a total unit upkeep of 4 mana. It's going to improve our melee units, our polearms, shields, and fighters to have a chance of reducing enemy defense. Let's enchant them. Alright, they have some glowy bits on their weapons now. That's always a good thing to have glowy bits. And let's move on. Next turn, we're going to unlock Secret Arrows, which we're definitely going to enchant our units with because we'll be able to hit the enemy from further away. And if you can hit the enemy from further away, where they can't reach you, it's always a great thing. So we have trade negotiations with our free city that is not at war with us. They say, during our lengthy discussion on trade terms, you discover an exquisite murder ring mounted on the wall of Guildmaster Ilian Ironheart of Bastion. This murder ring grants Vicious Killer. This unit inflicts double morale penalties when killing an enemy, and Inspiring Killer. It grants double morale bonus to its allies when killing an enemy. It's very nice. You admire the craftsmanship of the object. Even through the Whispering Stone, you can sense the powerful energy flowing from the murder ring. This is an artifact that belongs in the hoard of a Godir, our Wizard King, not on a wall of a Guildmaster. Ilian Ironheart soon notices your interest in the object and smirks. Your fascination with my murdering flatters me, Ilian Ironheart says, but only a generous offer can convince me to part with it. So we could offer gold for the murder ring, but we don't have enough gold on hand by 1 gold to buy it. That would give us more allegiance with them, which is a good thing. We could trade it for knowledge per turn, which would cause us to lose... For 6 turns, 33 knowledge per turn. That is way too much. Or we could spend Imperium to buy it. Or, because we have Materium affinity, we could attempt to copy it. So we have a 60% chance of making a perfect replica, or we have a 40% chance of failing and losing 1 Materium affinity for 6 turns. I think that this is the best option because we're going to get allegiance with these guys pretty much no matter what, unless we want to spend Imperium, which we could do. So building a outpost takes 2 turns normally. Right now with our Empire Development skill it takes 1 turn, and then it takes 200 Imperium, right, for the first city. It's going to take us a couple turns to get it up and running, so maybe faster allegiance is better because they give us income, money, mana, all that goodness. This has a chance of failure, and this could actually hurt us. So let's go ahead and let's spend the Imperium. Let's move the Lesser Tide Spirit further to the south. Do some scouting. We found the Fortress of Woe. And we've also found a Stone Spirit and 2 Lesser Stone Spirits. This is a Tier 3 unit with Melee Strike, Quake, which is an AoE 2 hex radius. So it has a range of 0, which means that you have to target the hex that it's standing on. And everything within 2 hexes receives 12 physical damage, and has a base 30% chance of immobilizing your units. It also has a mobilizing phase. It can teleport this unit to the target hex and deals damage to adjacent units, but it becomes immobilized as a result. So chances are it's going to bust into the cost 1 action point. It's going to phase into our units, try to immobilize them, maybe do a quake. Yeah, mobilization into quake most likely. The unit variety in this game really is very impressive, and these are just basic units, basic summons. The Fortress of Woe. This is a bronze ancient wonder. It says the ruins of a massive stronghold dating back to an age when the first civilizations made a stand against rampant gargantuan monsters and magical storms. Although battered, its weathered walls still offer a degree of protection to those within as well as those nearby during times of strife. So this counts as a research post. When we annex it, we'd get plus 20 knowledge per turn and plus 5 Imperium per turn. We'd get some extra fortification help per quarry in the city domain as well, and we get access to the Burrow Ogre and the Butcher Ogre. The Burrow Ogre has a drink ability. It gains strengthened, it loses defense, and it can do Frigid Belch, which deals damage in a 1 hex cone and has a 90% chance of inflicting frozen on the enemy. Otherwise, it inflicts slowed. The Butcher Ogre uses Butcher's Cut, so it has a chance of killing the enemy instantly based on the missing health, and it heals for 15 temporary hit points, so it takes a cut out of you and it eats your flesh. Both of these units are pretty nice. I think I prefer the Butcher Ogre over the Burrow Ogre, but the Burrow Ogre will be pretty good as well for that Frigid Belch. We're going to clear this Fortress of Woe pretty quickly. It is around the area that I would like to build the city, because the Iron Deposit here, Gold Vein here, Ancient Wonder here, and Archon Blood, a magic material, right there. So building in this province, for example, I could build here. I could start expanding north and then connect up our cities directly, right? There's only one connection right here. So I cannot build anything in mountain provinces as far as I know. So I can only have one city touching on the east. I could have one city touching on the north. And I can integrate Bastion, have them touch on the west. So I think at most I can have 3 cities touching my throne city and getting that bonus. Unless I expand the throne city out into this province, then I could maybe get 4 cities, which is probably the recommended thing that I should do. Alright. Let's move our hero unit further to the south. We're going to work on setting up that outpost. Western Scout, you're gonna grab that production stash before you do anything else. Oh, we can actually scout, we can prospect this province because it has these cliffs. Let's do that. Alright. We got the Robe of Resistance. That probably just increases our resistance, right? Yeah, resistance and status resistance. Not that important for this character. I would rather have more damage. Inferno Puppy, you're fully healed. I want to keep you with the main stack. I'm not worried about our main city being attacked at the moment. Nobody's at war with us except that free city. They're quite far away in the east. If my city was attacked directly, I think if I don't have any units in the city, they might be able to take it instantly. But they might have to do a siege instead. I have not been directly attacked on a city that has walls without a unit in it yet. So Inferno Puppy, you're gonna chill out for a little while, take a break. Eastern Scout, you're gonna head across the river, southeast. Going to discover a Nymph army with a Lightbringer, Nymph, some of our units, Arbalist, Mystic Projection, which is a scout, and an Pathfinder, which is a scout. You, sir, you can't prospect this province, right? No, there's not enough mountains, unfortunately. I think I would like to send you further northeast, so let's do so. Alright. We can go grab this mana next turn. That's easy mana. We finished our secret arrows, so we're going to start working on that enchantment as soon as we possibly can. Next research. Awakened tools cost us some stability to get production and draft. Decent choice. Spell Tempered Shields gives our enchanted shield units +1 resistance, which is nice. And when they enter defense mode, all units, including that unit adjacent to it, get +1 resistance until the start of the next turn. Or we can do Steel Fury Chant. I think that losing the city stability at this particular moment is not a great choice, although it might be a good thing once we get the tavern built. And we don't have very many shield units at this point that are getting hit by magic, so I'm not too concerned about that. And exchanging defense and resistance for strength and fortune is decent. I think the best choice in this instance is probably awakened tools. We can trade some stability temporarily for production and draft, which we do definitely need more draft. So we have built, what did we build here? We built the library, I believe. So what do we want next in Orcs Light? We probably want a tavern, because we're going to be using that spell, and we're going to be growing very soon. We could also build a wizard tower, the foundation of it, which gives us Imperium income, extra vision range, and it unlocks the wizard tower level 1, the crypts, so we can make money and income, mana, off of our killed heroes, or dead heroes, and prison cells, which you can make money off of our knowledge. We can make knowledge off of our heroes that we have in prison. These are all very, very useful things. But I think keeping our people happy is very important. So let's do that. Let's also think about getting maybe a grand mill pretty soon. So we'd want another forester, or perhaps a blacksmith to increase our draft income. Although we don't need that many units at this particular moment. I think continuing to focus on production and food is the way to go. We got a pact of cooperation with the Western Bastion Free City. They open their borders, we can trade with them, they can give us their magic materials, but we have to buy them. And the next up is a pact of loyalty. So once you've got enough relationships with free cities, you can do trades with them. You can spend money, mana, to receive food, gold, magic materials, things of that nature. It's a decent trade, but I don't want to make any of those trades at the moment. There's actually a culture trait that you can unlock that reduces the expense of trades, and I think it's overpowered at the moment. They're probably going to nerf it. So we're going to move on towards next turn. We're going to focus on... We won't be able to make that outpost quite yet. Right? No, we cannot reach the place that I want to go. I want to go right there because that'll give me access to the gold vein, Fortress of Woe, the magic material, and the iron. There might even be a source of fish or something like that in these waters to the south. You, sir. Ooh. Yeah, that is an NPC army of Heartfield, so they will kill my scout if they catch him. So I could not continue moving to the east. This army is actually guarding Silvertongue fruit, so when you annex Silvertongue fruit, you get plus 10 food, plus 10 draft, and Whispering Stones grant plus 1 allegiance per turn. An enchanting bloom that, upon consumption, encourages cooperation in those who indulge in its succulent harvest, often used as a treat during negotiations to bring about a fruitful outcome for all. So we need to back off, unfortunately. We cannot get around Heartfield. They are protecting the lands too well. So we need to pull back. We'll have to send the scout south, not south, but north into this area. We're going to leave this infestation alone. Hope that they attack our enemy Heartfield. There's a decent chance that we're going to come. I'm going to destroy these people. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Maybe they declared war on us first. Since they declared war on us first, I think it's fine. They could have been nice, but they decided not to be. I'd really like to get that large creature cage right here, but there's an army on top of it, so I can't do so. There's more forest over here, but there are mountains up here that we could potentially prospect. But I do want to scout this area and see what is in the area. There could be some more good stuff. Alright, you sir. Have we already scouted this? Prospected that? Yeah, we have not. But let's grab this knowledge first. Is this a prospect? This is a prospect. Okay, cool. There's so much stuff that you can be gained with prospecting. And because there's 5 other types of culture besides industrialists, then you usually don't have that much competition for this stuff. So it's basically free production, free gold, free hero items. You, sir, need to go prospect that province right there. And then I want to probably send you into the underground. Well, actually, we can go south, prospect this province, and then enter the underground right here and see where our little mole friend is hiding. Let's do that. I'm not going to build another scout. I think that's enough. We have like 4 scouts at the moment. That's quite a few. What I'll do instead is I'll probably build an anvil guard. They're very good at attracting attention, which is something that we want. Halberdiers are nice, but they're not like amazing. They cost a little bit more than anvil guards. So let's go with another anvil guard. We'll finish that tavern next turn. Let's move the Inferno Puppy Army a little further south. Let's have you explore the west. Okay, you're on an oyster reef that gives us gold. It's defended by a single deep sea Nimue. It has Poison Blast, Nimue Soothing, which means it can heal a friendly unit for 20 temporary hit points, gains 2 regeneration, which heals plus 6 hit points at the end of the turn. Has Warding, Charge Resistance, Demolish your natural regeneration, so it heals 10% of max hit points as temporary hit points. Very nice, very cool. So there are navies in this game. The water is a little neglected, but I have a good feeling that chances are they're going to increase the number of units and just give water some love, basically. This is a Kraken spawn. There are Krakens in this game. It's a basic fighter unit. We can annex another province in Orcs Light. So what do we want to boost next so that we can save production time and money? The Wizard Tower cannot be boosted. The Grand Mill could be boosted with another Forester. That would give us more people. More people is more of everything, which I think is a good choice. Especially because I can get this Iron Vein next, this Iron Deposit, which gives us more production. So let's go for that. Let's build a Forester right there. So in consideration of that, Bastion is expanding to the east. Not a bad thing. They did build a research post. They also have access to Arcanium ore. Nice. Nice. So we are going to build the Grand Mill after we finish the tavern, which we already finished actually. Cool. So let's build the Grand Mill. We are knocking out these buildings, which is the power of focusing on production and food. Eventually we'll start raising armies, but we're definitely in the explore and expand phase of the game. We also already got Pact of Loyalty, so they share vision, they can build on our claimed provinces, they contribute 2 reinforcement points to the Rally of the Lieges, they'll reinforce us in combat against marauders and rulers they're at war with. So next up is Vassalage, we'll get that in 6 turns. No one else is trying to ally them. You would see their flag somewhere along here, so we're just going to leave them alone. We need that Imperium for building cities and getting empire development skills. We might even get seafaring here pretty soon, which is right there. Basic seafaring allows us units to embark and use vessels to cross the water, and for flying and floating units to travel over the water. After that is excavation, which we can use in the underground. Allows us to excavate earthen terrain. We'll be doing that eventually. We don't have a second city yet, so I'm not concerned about getting metropolitan society, and it'll be a while before our cities touch. Alright, I want that outpost going up as soon as possible. I also want it like right next to the underground passage. Well, I don't get to choose, do I? Nah. Oh wow, 25 gold. That is very cheap, and only 1 turn. Each outpost does have a 10 gold upkeep for the owner, according to this. That might get cut in half, it might not. We will find out. So the outpost is going up right there. It'll take 1 turn. We will have to kill these units in order to take advantage of the resources though. And this chaplain is going to be a problem. Well, the Lightbringer is more of a problem because it has convert. I do want that. I hope you enjoyed Age of Wonders 4 following Braegear and I as we lead the Anointed Orcs into the future. If you like this video, why not give it a like? And if you want to see more, you can always subscribe. Feel free to let me know how the video went or what you thought of my moves in the comments below. I'll see you later in episode 7.